Hey friends, it's Rob. I wanted to do this unboxing with you from the Birmingham Pen Co., but I just realized that I did not hit record. So I already started unboxing it, and I'm so sorry. So let me get you caught up to where we are. This is my package from the Birmingham Pen Co. I've really been enjoying their inks lately, and I just discovered, I don't know how I've missed this, they sell a fountain pen. And not just a fountain pen, but they have a mini stub fountain pen. And if you've been following along with my stationery journey, you know I've been practicing my penmanship. And I have discovered that the cursive that I like to do, which is technically called a French cursive script, it really looks best with a stub nib because you get incredible line variation, or something in that family. A normal stub nib, or the average stub nib, is 1.1. I've seen like 1.5 all the way up to 2 and higher, and those are just a little too much for me. So I thought I would give a mini stub a try, and this is 0.8. I think it would be in the realm of the Esterbrook mini stub, if I'm not mistaken. So I wanted to get this and give it a try. What really intrigued me about this pen is the material that it's made out of. It's made out of aluminum. So check this out. As always, it comes in their fabulous packaging. This is some of the finest feeling packaging you'll ever touch. It's such interesting texture to this paper, and it's got really cool gold foil work on it. But look at that. It's a machined fountain pen made from aluminum, and it's embossed with Birmingham, and I believe that is the unit number. 2603031. That's my pen number. Each one is embossed. It's got a really nice, sturdy, and functional pen clip. It's got a dip at the front, so it's easy to slip that under really anything. I can pop this on that box, and it's not going anywhere. This is a firm to the touch clip, and that's really, really nice because sometimes clips can be kind of flimsy, and I just don't trust them to keep a fancy fountain pen attached to something, but that is very clearly not going anywhere. It's also, listen to that. It's so finely turned, you can hardly hear anything. And the same goes true for when you take off the body to get to the ink converter. Listen. It's just so nicely machined. It's so nice and smooth. Comes with a converter and their in-house nib, which you can see the design on this. It's really pretty. And this is the 0.8 stub. They're running a special right now. It also comes with an oblique double broad. It's just the nib. It doesn't include the feed. So you would take this nib and put it on this feed, and you have a double broad oblique nib, which means that it's tilted to the left. So depending on how you hold the angle of your pen, you can get some incredible line variation with that too. And then they sent me a bottle of ink, and I'm not sure why. I didn't order this. I did order ink, but I already received that. I got 3 bottles of ink, actually. I think I did a review on that. If I haven't, I'll post it soon. But this one is one that I've been looking at, Byzantium, and I cannot wait to swatch that. And I didn't even know they sold bottles this size. This is 50 mLs. This is what a normal bottle of ink comes like. It's a different shape, but that volume, anywhere from 30 to 50, maybe 60 milliliters. And most Birmingham pen inks are like twice that size. So I'm excited to know they have smaller bottles. I'm so excited, and I'm so pleased they sent that to me. Thanks, Birmingham Pen Co. I'm really excited. I think I might actually ink this pen up tonight and give that a test drive. So stay tuned for that. I will post a video as soon as I get that done. Hey friends, I'm back with part 2 of my Birmingham Pen Co. unboxing, because I realized when I unpacked this in the previous video, I neglected to mention a couple of things. In this order, I also ordered an extra fine point nib so that I would then have 3. So for this pen, I will have a 0.8 stub nib, an oblique double broad, and this extra fine. So I can use this pen for pretty much anything. I have a feeling I'm going to be using this mini stub a lot for penmanship, so that's what I'm going to ink it up with today. In addition to the pen, it also has this accoutrement box. In this is my certificate of authenticity from Birmingham Pen Co. should I ever want to resell this, and that's the number that's etched into the aluminum barrel of the pen. I had ordered some swag stickers to go with that, but I don't think they made that in the box, but that is a-okay because I am good for stickers. And then this Byzantium ink, I swear was added by the good folks at Birmingham Pen Co. I'm assuming because they think this is going to show off really well in the 0.8 stub nib. So I'm going to take their lead and I'm going to ink this pen up with this. So I also figured since it's a new to me ink, I would take the opportunity to swatch it. So I'm going to show you guys how to fill this pen using the converter inside. And I'm also going to do some swatching for you guys. So you take off your pen cap, unscrew your pen barrel to expose your converter. It just lightly pops in like that. You might have to give it a screw to unstick it, but it is not a screw type converter, so it does just push in. That might be some residual ink from when they tested this nib out in the pen, because these are machined in shop, so this has been smoothed and tuned already. So I'm making sure that this is fully seated. I've got my ink on a flat, stable surface so it can't tip. I'm going to dip past the breather hole, but I don't like to dip up past the shoulders of the pen because it just gets messy. So just very carefully dip. I screw down the converter. I listen for air bubbles. I know I am submerged fully if I hear air bubbles. I hear air bubbles. So then I'm going to raise and lower this a couple of times until I get a full draw. Actually, that drew almost full. No, it didn't. That was just perspective. Let me do that again. It looked like it was almost full. Now that's almost full. Then I'm just going to take some kitchen toweling and lightly wipe off the shoulders of the pen and give the nib and the feed just a little swipe. I'm not looking to get any of the fibers from the paper towel stuck in the tines or the feed, so I'm just doing a light swipe so that it's not messy if my fingers touch it. But if there's a little smear of ink on the nib, that's okay, it's not gonna hurt anything. So then you just screw the body of the pen back on, you're good to go. I like to fill pens this way by dipping the nib in and drawing up through the nib into the converter, as opposed to just inserting the converter directly into the bottle of ink, because this way the nib is primed and ready to go. I don't have to wait. If I do it the other way, I have to let this pen rest, nib facing down, for a couple of minutes in order for gravity to allow the ink to travel through the nib feed and down into the nib and get it nice and juicy and ready to go. So now that my pen is inked, let's do a little of my standard ink swatch. I'll just set this to the side for now. I've got some Colodex cards that I use the ink stamping kit from the Well-Appointed Desk, where I also get the Colodex cards to categorize my inks. I also use a page in my Hobonichi A6 because this has got some really fountain pen friendly paper in it from Tomoe River. I keep an index at the front where I've swatched all the inks on a different page. So when this ink sample dries, I'll come back in here and list this because I'm going to use this page. I'm going to use 2 bowls of water, to clean off the tools that I'm going to use a glass stir rod from a chemistry set and this Pilot Iro Utsushi with a medium tip dip nib to write things. So the first thing I do is I like to lay down the larger swatches of ink so that they have the most time to dry. I use my chemistry set stir rod and just get a little on the end and give it a good smear. What I'm looking for is I'm allowing the ink to puddle and pool so that if there's any shading, shimmer, or sheen, it has a chance to show itself. And then I do the same thing on the Colodex card. And I use these two different types of paper because I want to see how different papers handle inks. So I just put a little blob here and there so that it can as well puddle and pool. And then I take a little bit more and I do a big splash right across the bottom, but not past the notches where this will set in my Rolodex holder. Once I've got a nice, wet, juicy, thick line, I'll set that aside into a bowl of water, grab a Q-tip, and in some fresh water that I've got in a separate bowl, I put a little blob of water just below. That's not really putting a lot down. A little blob of water just below. This is similar to how you would use watercolors. You can prime your paper with a little water to make the flow easier, and then lightly touch and connect those dots. And you get some really interesting chromatography that happens. Some of the ink will pull down. You'll see some color separation, so anything that's in the undertones of these inks will make itself known. Now I'm gonna set this aside. Oh, I got a little ink on my finger. Don't worry about that, kids. This is a rite of passage. You're playing with inks. It's gonna get a little messy sometimes. And then I'm just gonna label these two swatches. That's for the Tomoe River. I can already see some shading showing up. I don't think that this ink is a sheening or shimmer ink. It's definitely not multichrome, so I'm just gonna set that aside just to make sure. If any of those other properties were to pop up during the drying process, I would notate it, but I think I'm pretty much done. So I will just clean my tools and say this is finished. I let everything dry and then I put everything away. That is how I do an ink swatch on my Tomoe River and my Colodex cards. On their website, this has a pretty extreme violet undertone, but I'm not seeing that. I'm just seeing a really pretty dark charcoal color. But we'll see what pops up as this dries. All right, let's give the pen itself a little bit of a test. I've been practicing my penmanship, and that's why I'm preferring to use stub nibs for stuff like this, because it gives really interesting line variation. That writes incredibly well. The weight of this pen is perfect for my hand, and you can see how smooth that nib wrote. I don't know if the audio could pick it up, but there wasn't a scratch to be found. There's very little feedback on that. If you don't like a smooth nib, this may not be for you. I love a smooth nib. I'll take smooth over feedback any day. I can handle a little bit of feedback, but too much makes my skin crawl. So this is right up my alley. I love the heft of this. The weight of this is perfect. It's very well balanced in the hand. That does technically post, although I don't ever post my pens. I just hold that in my left hand while I'm writing. And without it, it feels perfectly balanced. With it, the balance is a little more towards the back, but not unbearably so. I could do this if I wanted to. So if you like to post your pens, this is a great option. And as I showed earlier, this clip, let me just do it on the front cover. It's pretty amazing. That's not going anywhere. This is a gold star pen, if you ask me. I'm very pleased with this purchase. Birmingham Pen Co., thank you so much for machining this so well. It is amazing. And also, thank you so much for gifting me this bottle of ink. This is gonna be one of my new favorites. I'm really digging the shading on this. Shading is probably my most favorite special ink property, and that's really, really pretty. I love that. All right, you guys take care. Have a great day. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.